It's been 4 days since I installed Clawdbot or Moltbot on my private server. And in my last video, I told you I was ready to cancel Clawdbot because it was all hype. So I decided to keep Charlie running for a few days and to see if I was wrong. And honestly, what I found was kind of scary. So some people are saying that this is the future of autonomous employees. There's people going wild on Twitter at the moment. Others are saying it's a security nightmare waiting to happen. I watched it scan my Gmail, find subscriptions, and build an entire N8N workflow from scratch without me writing a single line of code. And it's exciting and novel, but it's also a little bit scary. So there are plenty of tutorials now about how you can set this up on a Mac Mini or a virtual private server. I'm not going to go into that today. I'm going to talk about what happens after the installation when you're actually trying to get it to do real work. So I spent the last 4 days trying to test its limits, building stuff, setting up dashboards like this, automating tasks, and letting it access some of my personal data so you can decide if the ROI is actually there. Spoiler alert, if you already know Claude Code or N8N, you might be surprised by my answer. So if you're new here, Clawdbot or Moltbot, as it's now called, is an open source agent that lives in your messaging apps like Slack or Telegram or WhatsApp. So it promises to be an AI employee that can handle your infrastructure, and it's available 24/7. But has it actually changed anything in my business in the last 4 days? Let's dive in. So what has Charlie actually been doing for the last 4 days? I decided to give it a few specific jobs to see if it could handle real work in my business without imploding. First, we set up this centralized dashboard. So here you can see tasks that are assigned to me. I've got to film this YouTube video and stuff that Charlie is working on. I also have a work log here because I want to be able to see exactly what he's doing. I can jump in and assign tasks to Charlie here, or we can jump into the channel and just chat in Slack, which is fun. Then what I did yesterday was got a little braver. So I got it to go through my Gmail and check for any subscriptions that I could potentially cancel. The thing though is you can do that already with ChatGPT connectors or Claude connectors. So that again is new. The only thing that feels different is that I can message in Slack and get it to do it rather than have the chat interface of one of these large language models open. So one of the cool things is when building this dashboard, I basically just described what I wanted. I wanted it to refresh in real time, and so we could have a collaborative workspace. And it went and built the dashboard, and we deployed it to Vercel, and then it also jumped into N8N and built this. So I didn't have to drag and drop any nodes or fill out anything. It did that itself. It's fun. I can message in Slack. It feels collaborative. We also have this private repo that we work on documents together, which again is a bit of a safety constraint that I have. It only works in that GitHub repo so that I can control what documents it has access to. If you look under the hood of what's actually going on, this is all just powered by Claude. It has access to my GitHub, MCPs. So do I think there's value in this or learning Claude Code and N8N? Personally, I would be leaning more towards learning Claude Code and N8N because even though you can prompt this stuff in plain English and it's fun to do that in Slack, you don't get to learn those skills, how to build a workflow, how to map that out. From a non-technical perspective, that looks great, but there's lots of security trade-offs too. So you don't know what it's building. You don't know, you have to do a manual like security check. Hey, can you run a security audit on everything to make sure it hasn't exposed any APIs? And for some context, I got it to check a GitHub repo that it created and it was public and it had all of my OAuths just in there. So this stuff does happen. Also, the risk of prompt injection is high and there's no guardrails unless you set them down. Or if you understand how to do that, like, do you know how to have this in sandbox mode? So the bot does remove that manual setup, but the output is exactly the same. Like, it's cool that I didn't have to drag and drop the nodes in N8N myself. But once the novelty wears off, I'm left with the same result I could have built manually. And when I build it manually, I understand how it works. So if something breaks, I know how to fix that. I'm not just going in a chat loop with Charlie, hey, can you fix this? But I don't even know the infrastructure that it has built. And I'm trying to reverse engineer the AI's logic. So yeah, that is definitely one of the biggest trade-offs. And also, I am not letting it have unrestricted access to my life or my business. So when you see Clawdbot or Moltbot spin up something from a text prompt, you also can see how this stuff can go wrong really fast. So if you tell it to fix a billing error and then it decides the best way to do that is to email the bank with your full credential, you see the problem, right? So it's exciting what it can do, but it's also terrifying what it can do so easily. So after 4 days of playing around with this, has my verdict changed? I'm still not seeing the ROI. It's fun. It's novel. But everything in this dashboard, I could have built this with Claude Code and be doing exactly the same. These are all just cron jobs. Like these are just scheduled tasks, which you can do with Claude Code, or you can have these running as N8N triggers. Again, maybe I'm missing something here, but at the moment, I would say just watch, see what is happening around you. Let other people figure out the bugs and the security flaws, and then maybe think about installing Moltbot. So I'm going to keep Charlie on for now, and we'll see how we go over the next week or so. If you want to build workflows that you understand and actually make you money, that's the kind of stuff that we do in my workshop and memberships. I skip the hype and focus on what actually moves your business forward with AI and automation. So don't forget to subscribe if you want more AI updates without the overwhelms, and I will see you on the next video.